my backstory is that my parents served as ministers and pastors in the same church for 27 years. And so the model I had growing up was just like you go somewhere and you plant yourself in that community and you give yourself to serving those people in that church. That being said, like I've been here 16 years. I, I don't think that's like worthy of, a big applause necessarily or anything, or it's that I'm better because I've been here. But I do feel like the fact that, you know, my wife and I are raising our kids here, and we have been through some intense seasons here and been through fast paced seasons that could have led to burnout. Um, and did push us in our capacity to the limits. And we've been through beautiful seasons, blessing seasons. And but I think that's we for me, I love the idea of being somewhere long enough that I can see the good and the bad and the mistakes and the triumphs and the burnout, and the recovery and the rest, and it all comes together and it all works together and it can all be a part of our journey. And I think again, it's not a difficult thing to feel like, oh, I'm a I don't know, it just feels like when we moved here to Charlotte to be a part of the church, it was like this is this is what we want to do with our lives. And the church was 8 months old, so there was no moving because there was a record label or there was worship out. It was just church plant, putting out folding chairs in a high school auditorium type situation, you know. But I think we just came in with that mentality that we want to plant roots as long as God has us here. But I do think that that mindset has served us through the years. It's like when things have gotten harder, it's like, what? No, we don't. Like, one, we're proving to ourselves there's only some things that will come when you remain, in a place long enough to gather. And then secondly, we're I feel like we're modeling for our children the same thing my parents modeled for me. Like, plant yourself, man. Like, that's how you that's how you discover who you are. That's how you discover how much God, loves you in different ways, and the kindness he shows and the way he can sustain you in different seasons. And so, and I mean, since we've been here, it has been from seeing ministry from the stages of and phases of that, yeah, setting up chairs and like every aspect of Sunday morning being portable, to to tour buses, and being sitting in a studio right now that we built a couple of years ago. And I don't say that as like, oh, it's been up and to the right. It's just one, you serve faithfully and you're never going to have, difficult times, or it's always going to, look like blessing. But I do just recognize, like, well, because I've been here 16 years, I've seen a lot of cool seasons and a lot of different phases of the ministry and like stages of people. And my son is it's his first year in youth now, so he's like old enough to be in youth. And we had his small group over to our house last night, for kind of like a kickoff of summer, end of year party. And two of the parents of the kids have been in church for 12 and then 14 years, and not on staff, not like, these are parents who have just been volunteers and who are been in the church, and they're raising their kids in the church. And so I love that. Wow, like I've got history with you, and now our kids are doing this together, and it's not because we're both making a paycheck from the church that the fact that you're still here is because you're getting, no, you just. And of course, God calls people to different places, obviously, and he calls different, people to to remain, and he calls people to go. So that's not neglecting any of that. It's just I'm grateful for I guess the mindset we that was implanted in me, from my parents, and then just what we're trying to carry out and model for our kids too.